Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of the self-care, self-awareness for empathic people. We left off talking about narcissism and the 2 types of narcissism. Now we're getting into signs of a narcissist. So number 1 sign is your sense of entitlement. They feel like they have to be superior to others. I think that competitive people can definitely be under this. Somebody who always wants to win, always wants to have the best team. They only pick certain people that can play with them because they want to be the best. They want to be above everybody else.
Yeah. And not always. Like, not all competitive always, people are.
Well, yeah, because I'm competitive, but I'm not a narcissist.
Yeah. No, it just is a trait for them. And, again, like, narcissism is obviously, like, born out of trauma. So this is just something that they've had to use to adapt to any type of trauma that has happened to their life. That's very true. So, again, like, not all competitive people would be narcissistic, but that is definitely... It's just a tool that narcissistic people use. Definitely a trait for them.
Number 2 would be manipulative behavior, which is very common with narcissists. They're controlling. They try to impress you at first, but then they'll switch to their needs comes first. So they try to be your friend. They try to, I guess, impress you and make you believe why you guys should be friends. And then after that, there's like a switch where all of their needs are more important and superior to everything in their life, including over you. Number 3 is the need for admiration. So the need for consistent praise to feel validated. When people brag or exaggerate their accomplishments for recognition, they want people talking about them constantly. So they constantly need people to talk about them, to brag about them, to make them feel validated, and that makes them feel good about themselves. But they won't do it for other people. Yeah. They won't brag about other people.
And again, it really is like a coping mechanism because they didn't receive that.
Right.
Either growing up, or I guess it could be something that happens later in life that kind of transitions them into that. But it really is just like a coping mechanism for them.
Yes.
It makes them feel good to be validated by people around them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 4 is the lack of empathy. So they're unwilling or unable to empathize with people. Biggest thing that I had to look up the difference between empathy and sympathy because I wasn't sure. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, where sympathy is the feeling of pity or sorrow for someone else's misfortune. So basically with sympathy, you're understanding from your own perspective, but with empathy, you're putting yourself in other people's shoes to understand their perspective. It's like understanding
their perspective from their own mindset. Yeah.
And why they have those
feelings.
Just
understanding why they feel that way.
Yes.
About certain things.
I had to look that up.
Even if it's something that you don't agree on, you still typically can, like, understand why they would feel that way because of whatever situation they're in, So,
and you're trying not to connect where you say, like, well, I feel this way. You're just trying to sit there and say, okay, well, tell me more.
Right.
You don't want to bring yourself into it, or else it's sympathy, not empathy.
Yes.
Which is...
Exactly.
Yes. Number 5, the last trait, is arrogance. A lot of the times narcissists can get rude and abusive when they don't get the treatment that they feel like they need. So that's where that emotional abuse and a lot of times physical abuse too can all chime in. And then the rude comments, where I know that you've had some situations with that too where you're just like, why would someone say that to me?
Yeah, again, like, I've had a lot of people in my life that have been that way, but it's just one of those things that happen when you are an empathic person. It's it's just kind of like your subconscious of the narcissistic person knows that you are someone who can sometimes be easily manipulated.
Yes.
And that's the sad part about it, and that's where it comes in to really be kind of self-aware as far as if you are empathic and you do have the ability to, like, feel the emotions of others. But also, even without being an empath, if you're just kind of like a kind person that cares a lot, that's the kind of personality trait that those certain personalities will seek out and feed off of. Because, again, it feeds into that, like, them wanting to feel good and you giving them that approval.
Yes,
and kind of feeding their ego a little bit.
Yes.
But yeah, it definitely is. And it's just a big part of making sure that you know what those personality types are. And again, like, people with each of those personality traits may not necessarily be a narcissist, but it's something that you have to actively look out for and watch for when you tend to have a personality type that can sometimes be easily manipulated. I definitely can be.
In very easily too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, it stems off of just, wanting to make people happy. And when that's inside of your inner core, like, you immediately do things without even thinking about them to make others happy. It's a really amazing trait, and I'm super thankful for it. But it also can get you into trouble because it's a way for people to easily come in and get you to do exactly what they want.
Yep.
I know. So being aware of it is important. Yeah,
and I know that in your history or your personal experience with narcissists, they find the things that bug you, or the things that
the things that I'm most insecure about.
Yeah, the things you're most insecure about, and they use it. They put it in their mind, they put it in the back of their head, and they're like, I'm going to use that when I need it. And that's where gaslighting comes in, I think.
Yeah, they will use that to and sometimes I don't want to say inconsistently. They use it very sparsely.
Yes.
And also very quietly. Mm-hmm. It's like a quiet way of saying it, so that maybe you don't really realize it at first, but it starts getting into your head, and then it becomes a situation where you start believing something that might not be true. And that's something that I've dealt with a few times, I think, over my life. But definitely gaslighting comes in there, twisting your words to make it seem like you are the problem, or that you did something wrong when you may not have, and you're just trying to express, your feelings towards that person. And again, I think it's another type of defense mechanism for people who have been through a lot in their lives and may have developed a personality trait of a narcissist. It's one of those things that, like, they feel out of control, and they feel a little bit because
everything's control invalidated with narcissists too. I read that too. They always want to be in control. Yeah,
and they may feel a little bit attacked when you come to them with something that you want to speak with them about that may not be pleasant. And so that's where they typically will turn to gaslighting and twisting. And again, this isn't something that I noticed all the time when it was happening, but now that I've been a little bit further along on my self-awareness journey and figuring out who I am, when I look back, I can definitely see it happening to me a few times in my life. And it's definitely something that you have to watch out for.
Yeah.
Because it can really wear on you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know Mystic Michaela touches on narcissists and empaths, obviously, because that's how we learned about that, but gaslighting too. Mm-hmm. And that really helped us. I feel like after you had brought her up, and we started listening to her, and you started learning about her, that's when we started seeing it in the past. We're like, remember that time that was done, and that person said this, and that's, that is a narcissistic tendency.
She definitely has an amazing podcast to listen to on that stuff. She does touch a lot on it, and it does bring a lot of things to light. And again, like, when you start to realize that you need to look out for those personality traits that indicate narcissism or anything around that, just because at the end of the day, like, sometimes it's not healthy to keep people like that around in order to just move on in your own life and make sure that you are happy.
Yeah, because your happiness, that's a super important part. Mm-hmm. And if you're not happy, you're not going to be happy with other people. So you kind of have to, take that time to figure that out for yourself. Mm-hmm. Because you need to be able to be happy first. And that way you can be happy for others.
Absolutely.
Happy with others.
Yeah, and it really is a game changer.
Yes.
Learning that about yourself.
Let's kind of spiral into how we should be aware, how we can deal with narcissistic people. What should we do in order to have a narcissistic person in our life, or move away, or kind of like, separate yourself from a narcissistic person?
Yeah, I think it just depends on the situation.
Definitely.
There are a lot of routes out of there. I think some people are able to deal with it if they're conscious of it and can make sure that they are putting enough space between themselves and that person so that they have time to like process things and make sure that they're not letting certain things that, you know, a narcissist may say get to their head. Sometimes it's best to just kind of remove yourself from the situation. I think it's something that people have to decide for themselves what the best route is depending on, you know, what the situation is.
I think for like my type of person, I would just, hey, see you later. I don't need you. I don't need that drama. Peace out, you know, whatever. Cut ties, you know. But that doesn't work for everybody. And if you're in a romantic relationship with someone who's a narcissist, that's a whole nother, you know, it's different level.
Story,
you can't just say goodbye and walk away and cut ties. I mean, I guess some people could, but
some people might. But yeah, it definitely does take a little bit more with those types of relationships because sometimes you can't just easily walk away.
Yeah.
Especially if it's someone that you may have like a family with and, you know, be married to or whatever the case may be. Those are definitely harder situations.
For sure.
And I think definitely would be super hard for an empath that's dealing with it because, again, like you don't want to make them sad or hurt their feelings even though they may have hurt yours. It's one of those situations you don't want to upset them. So, sometimes it is easy to walk away for some people. For some people, that's not necessarily the case. I know for me, it's not typically an easy experience. Yeah. And sometimes you just have to, I don't know, move forward on whatever's right for you in that situation. But yeah, it's definitely hard no matter what. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like, what about, so you're an empathic person. What would be your recommendation for self-care for other empaths? How to, like, you know, take care of themselves before they take care of others.
Find something that you like to do that relaxes you and take the time to do it. Don't feel bad because you are, I don't know, taking time away from where you could be helping other people or whatever. And this can deal with, like, you know, your relationships, your family life, your work life. Work is a huge one because I think for me, I always want to give at work as well. And it's not necessarily the healthiest thing. So finding where to put up those boundaries and say, no, I need to take time for me now.
Time.
And again, just find something that you can do even just like once a month that relaxes you. Like for me, I love the salt floats, what I talked about. I love doing that. It's an hour to myself. Usually that's not anything. Like it's not hurting anyone. I go sit in there for an hour, listen to my podcast or my music, and relax. But it can be anything, even as simple as like going to get your nails done.
Oh yeah, that would be mine. My little self-care.
Or going, I don't know, people like to do axe throwing or golfing
or go for a run.
Whatever. Yeah,
not my favorite, but
hey, some people like it. But yeah, just any of those things that make you relaxed and feel good so that it kind of builds up, fills your cup again, basically. You just have this like emotional cup, and I feel like when it's emptied, you're just drained and you can't really give any more. And that's where you'll get exhausted. So definitely find something you like to do and make sure you make time to do it. Yeah.
So I hope, you know, this video helps all you empathic people out there for self-awareness and self-care. Kind of learn and go, like I said, go see Mystic Michaela's stuff. She'll help you out too.
Definitely.
If you have any questions, just comment below. We'll try to answer them. Like and subscribe. And if you guys want more, let us know. We'll be able to talk more about personalities and empathic traits and things like that. So, all right. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.